included part of what my purpose of these Saturday mornings is. And that is, number one, that you get to know each other. We get to know each other better. We get to trust each other. We get to trust in each other better, then we can support each other better as well. So realistically, that's just huge for me. I have never had 9 elders in a church that I serve. All right, I've had as few as 2 and as many as 7, and the churches that I've served has been as little as 30, and the last one was over 600. But I've never had 9 elders. All right, so
You want me to quit?
just 3 of you, just 3. We're going to keep the 9 elders, all right, but there is going to be some teaching, some training along the way. How do you actually make this work, all right? And you're going to be able to support each other better if you have gotten to know each other better, all right? How many of you, for the longest time, how many of you have been here for how long? At this particular congregation? How?
Over 30 years.
Over 30?
Going on 16.
16?
26.
26?
48.
48?
On and off since I was 12.
Okay, long time.
On and off, traveling 20 years.
Okay, 20?
Since 74.
Okay,
1974.
About 4 months.
okay, the newbie here.
65.
All right. So most of you, all except for the preacher, watch out for him, all right?
I'm not an elder either, so.
That's true. You've been here a long time, and so you've got a feel for what's going on here at the church. But there's still people we don't know. I had figured out, so when we got to doing 2 services at Sunbury, we were running close to 300, and people were suspicious about how do you make this work and still get to know everybody, all right? And I said, you haven't known everybody since we've been about 150. You haven't. And you have a certain amount of friendships that are very, very close, and then it expands, and it expands, and then you just wave. I mean, you cannot, we don't have the time to get to know that many people. And so no matter how large the church, our circle of friendships is still the same. And within the leadership, you've got to get to know one another, trust one another so you can support one another, because each of you represents a segment within this church that thinks just like you do. All right? And so if there are questions that you have, most assuredly somebody out there also has the same questions. So ask them. And then we know how to answer them, all right? And so don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to put things on the table. What would we do with this? Those kind of, I think those are the things that then, once they're out here and once we've talked about it and once we have a feel for it as a whole, then you can support each other no matter where you are. So I think this is just huge for the leadership to be able to get together like this. I probably will not, Adam, go 2 hours, all right? We were talking maybe 2 hours when we were talking about a breakfast, but we won't do that. That's what I want to accomplish here, as well as, what do you tell somebody when they ask you, well, what kind of a church do you belong to? Well, what kind of a church is Lexington Church of Christ? Well, how does it differ from any other church? What are the main things about? All right? And how would you answer that kind of a question? And so that's one of the things that I want us to develop in the next 4 weeks as well. The details, for me, are not as important as the generalities. And we'll get down to that as we go. First thing that I want to do is to pair you up, all right? And what I want you to do is